Hello friends, I found it. Oh my gosh, I found the vintage truck, and so we're making it tonight. Are you ready for some Valentine's Day vintage truck making? After all my whining last night, it's time to make the truck, right? So I found my truck. Look at how cute it is. Oh my gosh, look at how cute the little truck is. We're making our cute little truck, and we're making it a Valentine's Day truck because, you know, the celebration of love is fast coming upon us, and we need to get to crafting. Yes, we do, because I have not made this part of the truck I have never made. So I thought it would be kind of fun. Hello, Nevada Nicole. I found my truck. You'll laugh at me when I tell you where it was. You'll all laugh at me when I tell you where it was. So it was actually I tore my craft room apart. And it was in the add-on for fall, like with all the pieces. What a crazy person I am. So I did find it. We're going to make it tonight. We're going to make it with the fun little Valentine's Day hearts coming out of it. There are actually two springtime add-ons for the vintage truck. So this is the new one that's not really new anymore. There's one that's older, and then there's one that's newer. And I'm pulling out the vintage truck here tonight because there's a new vintage truck coming. It's the same truck, though. So I want to get you, re-excited about the truck, because the truck is one of the most popular transfers, because there's so much you can do with the truck, right? It has the truck, and then it has the body piece so that you can do it in two separate colors. There's so many options because of the add-ons that have all these pieces with them that you can make all kinds of every holiday, every season, every general piece of home decor. The trucks are super popular. Not just for Christmas with the Christmas tree hanging out of it. It's my most popularly watched videos ever are always the truck. And it's the most popular transfer I've ever sold. I've sold more vintage trucks than I've sold anything. But there is a new transfer coming out. It's the same truck. So right now, which I have if you want them, the vintage truck is two pieces, and it's a B size transfer. But the truck only goes in one direction. So if you want your truck going this way, you can't do it. I was going to say a naughty word. You can't do it. So the new transfer that's coming out has the same truck going in both directions. So you can make your truck go in either way. You could do two trucks facing each other. It just gives you a lot more variety, and it moves up from a B-size transfer to a C-size transfer. It's the same truck. It's just, I believe it's the same truck. It's just two pieces instead of one. The other thing that is coming with the vintage truck is wood cutouts that are the truck cutout, and then they have cutouts that go in the back of the truck so that you can just make your truck and then interchange what you put in the back of the truck that are solid wood cutouts. Very similar to the hearts, the reindeers, the Easter eggs, the pumpkins, the Christmas trees. So true wood cutouts that are the truck, as well as a piece that does the back of the truck. And then, last but not least, there is a new transfer coming out to put in the back of the truck. Right now there are 4 add-ons that are all E-size transfers. So they're big transfers. There's so much to them, so many pieces, so many holidays, so much general home decor. I mean, you could truly buy that 4 add-ons and the truck, and you could craft for years and not create everything I think that you could possibly create with them. Okay, maybe a slight exaggeration, but lots and lots of options. So the new one has 2 vintage trucks on it. It's a C-size. And then I think the other one, don't quote me on, there's a new add-on that covers all 4 seasons. So you only have to purchase 1 instead of buying 4. You just don't have anywhere near the options that you currently have with the 4. So that's what's coming with the vintage truck. It's coming with our new release of the Spring Summer catalog, which happens on February 2nd. My box should be arriving any day, and I believe the truck stuff is in it. So I will show it to you when it gets here, but it's not here yet. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So tonight we're going to make the truck the good old-fashioned way, in its one direction. And we're going to put our fun little heart balloons out of it. And then it has this really cute little sign that says Cupid Farms, loads of love. So I think you put the balloons coming out of the back like so. We put the truck here and we put Cupid Farms here. I think that's how this goes. I searched online too. I couldn't find any solution. I haven't seen this one made. So this particular add-on has flowers for springtime, all kinds of different flowers. It has this super cute little bunny that has carrots and follow the bunny. He has the chocolate, but super cute little bunny. It also has this adorable little leprechaun guy. Here's the other part of the bunny. So that this is the bunny guy. Follow the bunny. He has the chocolate. There's the flowers. Then there's leprechauns. He is like diving into the back of the truck for his pot of gold. This is a fun one. I don't honestly know if I have any. Is that the, no, Nicole, these are the old ones. I don't have the new one yet. I think there's pros and cons to the new one. There's just not as many options of pieces to it. So you're really limited. I think right now, the 4 add-ons, while they're an investment, there's so many crafting possibilities with them. They're really nice to have. But the new one will obviously be more economical because there's 1 add-on and there's 2 trucks. But the trucks are more expensive moving forward. So, I don't know. It's a trade-off. They both have their pros and their cons. So, we're going to put our fun little balloons in the back. So, I'm going to finish cutting this one apart because I've never made this piece of the truck. So, we're going to put our truck on. We start with our base and then we add the actual truck. And then we're going to stick our fun little balloons. I was trying to decide where the balloons should go. Like, I think the balloons should go like so. And then we have Cupid Farms. So I think this is where we're going. I couldn't decide. Do you think the balloons should come off more towards the cab of the truck or more towards the back? I mean, if I center it, and I could just put them straight up too, I suppose. I guess in my mind they should be at an angle, but maybe they shouldn't be at an angle. Hello, Margie. Welcome to our check-in party. Hello, Diane. Hello, Miss Cheryl. Hello, Desiree. And Miss Nevada Nicole. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I always struggle with what color to make the truck. And I always end up going neutral because it looks beautiful in neutral colors. But you could go totally crazy with colors of the truck. The winter truck, the winter add-on has where you can put it in, you can make the body of the truck buffalo plaid, which is adorable. I didn't know that they had a new one coming out. They do have a new one coming out, Nicole. It's on February 2nd. It's 1 transfer and it will cover all 4 seasons. But it's really limited. I mean, obviously, when you have 4 E-size transfers, the creative possibilities are endless. And you're going to 1, and I want to say it's a C. I don't think it's even a D or an E, but don't quote me on that. I have to look. I don't know the new catalog that well yet because it hasn't come out yet. So I want to make our truck, and we're going to stick kind of with our traditional colors that we've been working on upstairs for my mantle, which are raspberry sorbet, peony, black, white, gray. We have a little bit of red, but not a lot of red. So I'm actually kind of thinking maybe we should make the truck red, the body of the truck red, and then the actual truck gray. And then we'll make our balloon. That's a lot of red though, and we don't have a ton of red up there. We could go neutral. I did pull out Camel and Dune. Camel and Dune are really neutral, really cool. I really also like Greige and Storm, or Greige and Dune together. They're very, tone on tone neutral. They look very nice together. I just don't know about the Camel because everything we have up there is black. So this is kind of our color palette. And I think these guys go better than Camel does. So I think we're taking Camel out. So I think we're gonna make the truck, yeah, we might throw a little red shimmer in there. I don't know. Possibilities, people. We have so many possibilities. So when you make the truck, obviously you start with the truck and then you fill it in. You always start with the piece that has the most screen to it. If the transfers don't have numbers on them, the older transfers don't have numbers on them, the newer transfers have numbers so that you know how to layer them. So for example, these guys have numbers on them. It's C1 and C2 so that you know what order they go in. This is a newer transfer. The truck has been around since the company started. They tried to retire it once, and there was so much uproar about retiring it because it is, or at least at the time, I don't know if it still is, but at the time it was our #1 selling transfer, and they were trying to retire it. A lot of uproar. So they chose not to retire it after they told everybody they were going to retire it. So I think we're going to go like so. We're going to bring him down a little bit more, though. So we're going to stick him here. I'm going to remove my transfer from its backer sheet. Oh, I guess I haven't done my usual. Hello, I'm Making Maria. I'm your Chalk Couture independent designer. Welcome to my live demonstration video. I make a live video every night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time right here on my page. If you are watching me on YouTube, welcome. If you want to like and subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. So I'm just smoothing out my air. This transfer has a ton of screen to it, and you really want to make sure your air is gone because it has so much screen to it. If you don't, as you squeegee across, your transfer moves and you don't end up with your smooth surface. So I think we're going to do Dune for the body of the truck, and then we're going to do, I actually want to do Storm. We just have to find Storm. Ooh, Dune is dry. Dune needs a drink. So when you open up your chalks and they're dry, you give them a drink of water and you stir them. If they're really, really dry, you give them a drink of water, you stir them a little bit, and you put them in the microwave for 3 seconds. Not more than 3 seconds or you'll melt the container. But you put them in the microwave for 3 seconds, and then you add a little more water and you stir them, and you can work them and you can bring them back to life. If they're super dry, it is chalk. So over time, if you don't pay attention to your chalks, they will dry out. So you do want to be very conscious of that. I have the transfer and haven't used it yet. There you go. Kathy, do you have the truck or do you have the add-on? Or both. You probably have both. The vintage truck is really, I mean, who doesn't love a vintage truck, right? And there's just so many. I like the current add-ons because there's so many combinations, and they're not all holiday. Some of them are just general home decor. Some are farmhouse, some aren't farmhouse. And they really mix well with all kinds of other transfers. Like we made it, I'm looking right at it. We made it with the marketplace flowers with all the flowers coming out of it, and it was super cute. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on and just go straight across. Kathy has the truck. Do you not have an add-on, Kathy? You gotta have an add-on if you've got the truck. Okay, so I'm just covering up my whole silk screen and smoothing out any lines. And now I'm gonna pull up my truck. I'm gonna stick this in my water bath, and I'm gonna let it dry, or get it wet. I'm gonna wash it off here in a second. Now I did make a small bleed because I had an air bubble there. So I'm just gonna fix that. Now my cardinal rule is don't fix your mistakes until your chalk paste is dry, which I just broke. And I'd be very upset with myself because that is my rule. It's always better to fix your mistakes when your chalk is dry, because otherwise you risk smearing, at least I do because I'm, not always the sharpest knife in the drawer. You risk smearing your wet chalk paste, the part that you didn't want to ruin or to remove. So it just works better, I find. You have less likelihood of ruining the good part when you do it that way. Ooh, Kathy, that's one of my favorites, the fall add-on, because there's so many just general home decor words with the fall one. The fall is my favorite as well. So I'm just gonna dry my base. You really, really, really need your base to be dry before you add the truck over it. Because you're going to layer your chalk. Anytime you layer chalk, you really need to make sure your base is dry. Because, first off, if you put your transfer over wet chalk, it's going to smear. Secondly, if it's not dry, it's not completely stuck to the surface. And when you go to pull your transfer off, you'll pull the chalk with it. So we're getting there. It's not 100% dry, but we still have color. So I need to find my Storm. She's right behind me. There we go. We're going to do Storm and Dune for our truck. Just very nice neutral palette because I really want the focal point of the transfer or the design to be the balloons coming out of the back. The other thing I like about these heart balloons is you can do so many different things with the hearts. You don't need to do these transfers with just the truck, which again is why I like the add-ons because they go with so many different things. So if you look behind me, right here, this guy, Valentino, we made him last year. He's a gnome. I didn't have this transfer when we made him, or at least I didn't realize I did. And see how he's holding balloons? He could have totally held these balloons. I had to create those balloons. With a totally different transfer, and I had to like piece it together, which is okay. I mean, that's another beauty of having lots of transfers, but I have too many transfers really at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm good and dry, and I'm just gonna one more little, just to make sure. Otherwise what happens is your truck comes up with your transfer, there you go, and you have to wash it off and start over. So now I'm going to take the base of my truck, remove it from its backer sheet, and I'm going to layer it on top. By laying it on top, what I'm doing is I am creating. There's a lot of fun detail to this crazy truck. This was before registration marks, so I'm guessing the new one will have registration marks, so it'll be easier to line it up. Okay, so I'm going to gently place it down. I'm going to push hard on my parts of the truck that are not layered. But when it comes to my layered ones, I'm going to gently push down. You want them to seal, but again, you don't want them to seal so much that they take all that chalk paste off with them. So I think we're just going to do the whole thing in Storm. Yep, we are. Lots of detail to this guy. So again, take your time. Make sure he is all smooshed down, sealed up. Put your blob of chalk paste on and pull it across your silk screen. I probably don't apply as much pressure as I normally would, and that can be good and bad. By not applying as much pressure, sometimes I don't get the chalk all the way through the silk screen, but I don't want that base to come up. So it can be good and bad, the not enough pressure. So just cover that whole truck up and then remove it and cross your fingers and hope your bottom layer stayed on, which it did. Oh, isn't he cute? I love this truck. I think it every time I make the truck, and I'm always like, why don't I make the truck more? The truck is so cute. I did go off my transfer a little bit, so I do have a little bit of cleanup to do. Oh, love this truck. I'm so glad that they didn't retire it because it really is just a pretty, pretty truck. And, you know, the other nice thing about the truck is I have made the truck for more guys than I have, I've made the truck for more guys than I have for girls. Or I've made it for girls that were making it for their husbands. You know, the ones that, you know, the summer one has the fishing poles that come off of it with the fish hanging from it, which is so adorable. I've made that for a couple of guys where the wives called me up and said, can you make this for my husband? I've made shop type ones for, you know, your truck lovers. Especially that certain generation, you know, that may have potentially owned one of these trucks. Okay, so I've got schnibbles everywhere. So we are all dry. Don't open your chalk paste over your surface because you end up with schnibbly things everywhere. All right, so then we've got Cupid Farms. We've got some fun balloons and some of these. So I'm going to put these other guys away because at this point they're just really in my way. And I'm just gonna make them go flying if I don't. I'm gonna dry this part of the truck. Hey Margie, I am using the Grayson chalkboard, which is, hang on, I'll look, I'll measure. I was gonna say it's 18 by, the actual board, Margie, is 18 by 14 3/4, but it's the Grayson. Okay, so again, I'm just really making sure that the base of my truck is dry. We don't have to layer too much to put the balloons in. Sometimes, you know, when you're putting things right in the back, you are layering it more. It says Grayson chalkboard. It's 12.5 by 18.5, Margie. But it's the Grayson. It's a very nice board. Okay, so my board is all ready. You do have to be careful. I find when you wipe your boards with baby wipes, which I always say I'm not going to do, they do leave a residue. So you just kind of got to be careful with them. So we're going to do Cupid Farms Loads of Love. We're going to stick our little, I don't know, maybe they should just come right out of the back. I was thinking it should come at an angle like it's driving, right? And then we can put, there's a little tiny piece we can put on his door. So that's the other nice thing about this particular add-on is it has these cute little guys that you can put right on the door. So we have this cute little XOXO that we can put right on his door. I am going to fuzz this because this little guy is brand new. And again, I'm layering it. Fuzzing it, all that step is I'm taking it and I'm touching it to a terry cloth towel. And then we're going to stick it right on a cute little door. There's a piece of lint though in the middle of my I gotta get that off. Be careful if you have lint on your transfer. Sometimes that happens when you fuzz. Should we make this guy, this XOXO, red shimmer, right? Because we've got to have a little shimmer on our door. So Crimson Shimmer is a very fun red shimmery alternative to glitter. Okay. So we put our little XOXO on our truck in red. Oh my gosh, isn't that cute? I love this truck. Where'd my dryer go? Oh, right in front of me. Make sure you dry, because you're layering. I don't want to smear it, and it's so adorable, right? So I think we're going to do our strings out of the back, like so. We're going to do our strings in Storm. Kind of do them at an angle out of the back so it looks like my truck is driving. Maybe a little more angled. So it looks like my truck is driving and my balloons are flapping in the wind. Okay, so I'm going to do my strings in Storm. But registration marks are going to be important on this piece, and I always do my registration marks in white. I always do my registration marks in white because they're much easier to see if they're white. If you do them in a dark color, I don't want to make this crazy. It's harder to see them. So I'm going to take I'm just going to do my white right away. I'm almost out of white. Do my registration marks right away. Okay, and then I'm going to do my balloon ties, the strings. And I'm going to pull this out. like so. You can't see it. Once it dries, you'll be able to see it. So I have my cute little registration. Oh my goodness, I'm putting my storm in my white paste container. That's bad. Don't do that. Actually, let's clean this up a little bit. I got white paste everywhere. Don't do this over your project. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of getting my white back down in there. It stays less dried out if it's down in your container. And a little drink, close it up. I think we're going to be done with white then. Okay, I'm going to wipe these guys off. Much easier to clean off your tools when your tools are wet, chalk paste wise, than if they're dry. So I always take the second to wash them off just because it's much easier to get it off. Otherwise, it's harder. Not super hard, but harder. Okay, so I'm going to dry this because you guys can hardly see it. Hopefully once I dry it, you'll be able to see it. They're very thin. I'll hold it up. So they are super duper thin. So see, you can see them. They're there. Okay, so now, show my registration marks. Take my little balloons, and I'm just gonna line up my registration marks. It's easy to line up the registration marks because basically they're just bullseyes. It's easier if you fuzz your transfer though, because then it doesn't stick right away. There we go. We got our fun balloons down. And okay, so we've got that, and then we've got Cupid Farms Loads of Love. So I think for our balloons, color-wise, we don't want them all to be the same color, but I don't want to do like Hot Mess or anything. I think we want to be methodical and go back and forth and change their colors. So I think we want Raspberry Sorbet, because you know you gotta love Raspberry Sorbet, right, for Valentine's, which also got very dried out. Give it a drink, stir it up. You can tell it's winter in Wisconsin and my heat is on, so there's not a lot of humidity in my house, so my chalk pastes dry out faster than they do in the summertime when we have high humidity. Okay, and then we've got a little peony, which is nice and dreamy creamy. Okay. We could do, you know, a red shimmer or two, but I think we might do that on our Loads of Love in red shimmer and then Cupid Farms in maybe peony. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe white. Okay, so I'm going to grab that multi-purpose tool again because I'm going to go back and forth with the balloons. And I'm just going to make some of them Raspberry Sorbet and some of them peony. And I'm just going to be random about it. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to think it through super hard. This would be much easier to do with a technique like Hot Mess versus going back and forth and doing each individual one. So you have your choice really as to how you do it. One's obviously easier than the other because we're going to get, oops, I've never done that where I put the wrong paste in the wrong. So this is a tight fit because I don't have a ton of room to not go into the next. So I'm going to pull out the detail tool actually because it's even a smaller squeegee and it will prevent me from getting chalk paste where I didn't want it. My chalk paste is going to dry though because I'm taking my time. So you do need to be very conscious of that. So we're going to do a lot of pasting and peeling as I go. You do have to smooth out your lines though, because you will see them. Okay, so we're just going to pick it up and put it back down so that we can keep going with the other ones and not have to worry about, oh, my chalk base dried. Okay, I'm just going to keep going with this color, and then I'm going to wash off my squeegee and switch to a different color. The next part, when we do the next part, there's again an easier way to do it than I'm going to do it. The easiest way to do it is when you're all done with the one color with the balloons, go back and wash your transfer off before you go back and do the next balloons. The reason that you would do that is you would clean up any little like schnivelly, you know, you've got big lines of chalk paste in between them, in between your hearts. And by washing your transfer off, you have less likelihood of picking up that color with your squeegee and carrying it through to the next heart. So there is an advantage on this type of transfer to washing it in between doing the two colors. I don't do that live because of the essence of time. You guys would have to wait for me to do that. So I just keep going and hope I don't pick up the color. But if you, again, want to eliminate some stress and pressure of, oh my gosh, my chalk base is drying, oh my gosh, I'm picking up the wrong color, the way to avoid that is to wash your transfer in between. Okay, again, pick it up as I go so I don't have to worry. Okay. Oops. Like I just picked up the color with my finger. So I'm going to wash it off my board. When you wash off your board, again, you've got to dry your board off because of the residue of the baby wipe. Okay. And now I think we're going to just switch to peony and just knock them out. And then we'll add the raspberry sorbet to the Cupid Farms. And maybe peony too, who knows. Okay, so now we're going to take peony and we're going to just continue. And we're just going to do all the rest of them. It's easier now because I don't have to think about, oh, which one do I want to make peony and which one do I want to make raspberry sorbet. So it goes a little faster. Again, I could totally hot mess them, and then I wouldn't have to worry at all. I could just mix the colors together. I'm not a huge, I don't mind hot mess. It's just if I have the time, I would prefer to take the time. Because sometimes crafting goes too fast and you want it to go a little longer.